Guys, what's going on? It's Ash here coming at you today in Raid Shadow Legends. Today we're going to talk about the game, kind of the state of the game. Obviously there's a lot of controversy, a lot of kind of community negativity going around, a lot of it rightfully so. I already put out a video talking about YouTubers and should or should not Plarium give YouTubers free stuff in game. You already know my opinion in case you don't. I don't think they ought to. I think that YouTubers should have access to developer build outside the main game where we can have access to champions to highlight them but not affect the competitive integrity of the game. However, I do not blame content creators for taking things from Raid Shadow Legends from Plarium if they're offered them. The onus really is on Plarium to fix that policy. But this video is not going to be about that. It's going to be about what the game needs. Today that we received kind of a I hate to be critical here because all of the community managers from Raid Shadow Legends, they're taking a lot of heat from Plarium. They're taking a lot of heat from the community, and I think that some of it's fair. Sometimes just, you know, if you're just attacking somebody, I don't think it's fair at all, and I know welcome to the internet, right? But still, you ought to still try to be constructive, even though it can be so easy just to pile on with negativity, especially seeing that in their forums and their Discord server. So there's human beings on the other side of this at the same time, and, you know, whether or not you want to respect that. I think it's great to be constructively critical, as I'm going to do in this video, but at the same time, remember that it's just a mobile game at the end of the day. At least that's my attitude. I'm not going to waste my time being real life angry or sending off personal attacks at people. However, a very kind of tone-deaf announcement, with all that said, coming from Plarium today, in where they announced something for not the next patch, but the patch after that, about these new, like, god-tier artifacts. I'm going to show them on the screen here. Only available in Platinum tier arena. I'm not going to get too much into this, because this is not what I want this video to be about specifically, but I don't know why they're announcing something on a patch that's not even the next patch, specifically a patch that does not affect 99.9% of the player base, right? Only the biggest whales in the game, and I have nothing against the biggest whales in the game, right? I have nothing against spenders. I spend a lot on this game myself, right? However, these sort of things, you do not focus, especially after all the controversy, you do not come out and say, hey, God tier, the only 0.001% of you guys, God tier artifacts, the only 0.001% of you guys can get is going to be announced in 2 updates from now. No, that is not the answer, Plarium. That is not the answer. Take a look at this gear, by the way. 4-set gear. It's the Swift Parry set. 18% speed, 30% crit damage, 50% chance to get an unkillable buff for 1 turn when hit with a fatal hit. Are you kidding me? All this is going to do is box other players out from getting to the end game, right? That's all it's going to do. And that's not cool, man. That's not cool. It's just, I appreciate the new gear. The sets look awesome. Here's the other one, by the way. Deflection set. 20% HP, 20% defense, 30% chance to deflect a debuff onto the attacker when a debuff is placed on the wearer. Dude, I mean, the artifacts are really cool. Don't get me wrong, but I don't think it's certainly not what you want to focus on. If you want to release god tier artifacts, sure, do it. Let us know about it right before the update's coming, not right, you know, months and months in advance of this patch. And let us know what you're going to do for 99.99% of the player base. Your fans, your avid players, not just your big spenders. You should focus on your big spenders, but you should do that a little bit more quietly. It shouldn't be front and center all the time. That's not how you build a successful ecosystem around a game, in my respectful, humble opinion. Just not how you do it. And as I said in that video, I hate to drop like credentials like I'm on a job interview, but I've been a community manager for Arena of Valor with Tencent when it launched in North America. I've done a lot of consulting work for various other developers as well, and this is just not, I just don't understand why they would think this is a good idea to announce this, A, and a good time to announce this, B. And just the idea in general to give the god tier players more god tier gear that prevents other players from ever getting to that tier. I just don't like it. I just don't like it. Now, what is the answer? Let's start with what this game needs, right? In my opinion. Curious to hear your opinions too. So starting out, let's talk about this gear, right? It's cool if you want to release that god tier gear. It's cool. But what do you have to do? You have to scale it down too. Maybe they plan on doing that, but if they did, they should have announced it at the same time. Give us in gold tier. Give us in all the other tiers of the arena. Give us also amazing gear. Not that amazing, but give us amazing gear that we can get in our arena levels. That way we can actually have a vehicle to get to the end game. But there's no news of that. It's more of kind of like, you're never going to get this, and therefore you're never going to get this high unless you spend $20,000 on the game, you know, or more. So that's one thing. Arena needs to be revamped in terms of the award tier in the lower leagues as well. That way we have a vehicle again to get there ourselves and we're not just boxed out. Number 2 is we need a new dungeon where we can farm. We need 2 new dungeons in the game. Desperately needed for free-to-play players and even for anybody who's just not a huge spender. I am a huge spender, and even I acknowledge this is necessary. We need 2 dungeons. One dungeon where we can farm silver on a daily basis, beyond just campaign, right? We need a dungeon, just like a silver, you know, vault or something. I played like Skylanders or something, or I did some sponsored content for Skylanders. They have like a gold dungeon where you have like 2 attacks a day or something, kind of like Faction Crypts type of idea, where you go in and all it is a lot of silver, right? Because there needs to be injection, especially, I hear you guys, free to play or mid-game players, there's not enough silver. It makes the game really drag. You almost get to this wall after a few months of playing where you're like, okay, I have no silver, right? So more silver. There needs to be a vehicle for people to farm silver who are not spending a ton of money in your game. The whales are still going to spend money either way. So why not help out people who are not whales, right? The other dungeon is another obvious one. The other dungeon is for skill books, for books. Dude, the only way to get legendary books in this game is to have a very small chance after you beat Ultra Nightmare Clan Boss? How is that fair? I haven't mentioned this again because I love this game, right? I really do. I'm doing this second YouTube channel. Trust me, it is not a great ROI for me in terms of my time spent. I'm doing it because I'm passionate about the game. I love the game. But, come on, man. There's got to be a way to get these things for free-to-play players if you want a game that has any sort of element of fairness to it. There ought to be a way to farm books too. There ought to be a way. The golden rule here is you don't introduce something to the game that's impossible to get without spending a lot of money, right? So there's 2 dungeons, one's for silver, one's for skill books, right? That's pretty easy. And then revamping the arena. Those would be great changes in my opinion. There's a million other ideas. I'm sure you guys can think of some as well. But that's just my opinion. In the meantime, I think that respectfully, the community team, they have a lot on their plate and they take a lot of heat like we talked about at the beginning of this video. But the community team really ought to recalibrate how and when they're making these announcements and how they talk to the community. There needs to be a level of transparency, and there needs to be a much bigger, overall sense of talking to the entire player base and not having kind of these, like I said, kind of tone-deaf announcements today after all that controversy on the Dracomorph. Just announcing that with the god tier stuff that only 0.0001% of the players can have access to. I feel like that's just not a good move. So, how about focusing on stuff that applies to all the players or the majority of players? And that, imagine today if they said, hey guys, we're making a new way for you to farm whatever, like I said, books, right? So skill tomes in the game. That would be so popular. And it would make a lot of people forget about all that like controversy about the Dracomorph and whatnot, right? But instead they didn't. So those are my ideas, guys. I want to throw the question to you guys. What do you think this game needs in terms of what is at the top of your priority list that you would like to see Plarium add to the game? Because again, we can't make change unless we do it in a constructive way. At least that's my opinion. I'm generally a pretty positive, optimistic guy. I do love this game again, and I want it to succeed. I don't want to bring the game down. I don't want to, bring Plarium down. I want them to improve and kind of change course here, and hopefully that will happen. I'm still hopeful that it will. So guys, let me know what you think in the comments below. I hope you enjoyed this video, kind of sharing my ideas for the game inside Raid Shadow Legends. Thank you for watching, and as always, take care, guys.